Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be creating a colorful crafty card using brand new products from the Pretty Pink Posh May 2022 release. If you love crafty type stamps, dies, stencils, and all of that good stuff, you are going to love this release. I always gravitate towards these type of products because I think they're fantastic for sending to your crafty friends or really anyone. Today I made this card with a good friend in mind and I absolutely love how it turned out. I love repeating patterns, and so repeating the coloring instruments, the pencils, the markers and crayons and all of that along the bottom of the card is something I particularly love. We're going to start though with the brand new mini grid stencil. I love a stencil for a background. You guys probably already know that about me if you have been here before, but I am simply using my Tonic magnetic mat to hold this new Pretty Pink Posh mini grid stencil in place. And I'm using a couple of my favorite colors of Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated Ink in Seafoam and Surf to color mostly the center of this 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel. So I'm purposely leaving the outer border kind of faded. It's very imperfect, which is the look I'm going for. It almost automatically gives it not exactly a border, but it doesn't take that design all the way to the outer edge, which is what I'm looking for. And then you can kind of play with it, rotate it. You can trim it down if you want to, whatever floats your boat. You could even do many different colors if you want your background to be a little multicolored. Because I am going to be coloring in all of the coloring tools in different colors, I decided to keep my background kind of basic so that the images would really pop off that background, but I'd still have a little bit of interest. Once I have my background stenciled, I am going to go ahead and stamp my greeting. You can see that I had my stamps laid out. I'm using images from the Crafty Days stamp set, and then I'm using a greeting from the Crafty Sentiments. I think these are going to be staples in your crafty stash because they're just adorable. It can be used in so many different ways. I particularly love the Crafty Sentiments, and then you can mix and match them with all of the wonderful Pretty Pink Posh images. I am going to stamp the border multiple times. It is longer than the 5.5 inches tall that my cardstock is, but that's okay because I'm not using the whole thing. Because I'm using this vertically, you're going to see how I'm going to trim down those borders. I'm not going to actually color in the entire thing. I do need 3 of the borders. I am stamping everything I need with Hero Arts Intensified Black ink, and I chose to use the mouse image. Now, something about the coordinating dies for the Crafty Days, I love that there's a square that die cuts the square image or square cardstock, whatever you want it to be, and then there's a scallop that has some stitching. I love the scallop, but it wouldn't work with my sentiment and my card design, and so ultimately I left it off, but I will be sharing more cards a little bit later this week, and I'm going to incorporate that because I think that little scallop frame is just so super cute. But don't feel like you have to use it or use anything in any set. Let the design dictate the direction you need to go. So this was very much a card where the design that I had in mind dictated the sentiment, the placement, how many borders I was going to use, and all of that good stuff. There's an adorable koala and also a mouse in this stamp set, and then there is a square that has like a notebook or a planner. I think it would be really cute for planners too. So very, very cute. I colored in the mouse first, and because well, not only because of this, but I'm not going to mat it on anything, and I don't want to leave the background white. There's quite a bit of white on my card already. So I colored in the mouse with some earth tone markers, and I'm going to color in the background with some aqua. So BG 45 and 49 is what I chose to use for the background. And I want to make sure I just get a really nice blend. I kind of traced with the dark color first, and then I blended out with the lighter color. And as always, I have have listed the marker colors in the description below the video here on YouTube, as well as over on my blog for easy reference, so definitely check that out if you want to replicate any of these color combinations. I added some pink to the insides of his ears and then kind of went over them with E40 and 43 even a little bit to make it a little less dark pink. And then I also added some of the R30 to the cheeks and R32 to the nose, added some little white highlights. And then I colored in this first crayon and I totally didn't like my color combination, but I don't have to restamp this. I'm only using a portion of this strip anyway, so we're going to be starting this strip with the next pencil, which is totally fine, as I said. So that worked out really well, and there's really nothing wrong with this crayon. I just think the gray colors I used are a little dark. I want to go a little bit lighter. Sometimes that happens. You can change it on the fly. So I'm going to grab all of my markers because there are quite a few colors, and we're going to start coloring everything in. You can see that I already colored and die cut one of the borders, and now I'm simply going in and adding my earth tone and cool tone gray marker to all of the markers I think I'm going to use. I will die cut the strip after I have it partially colored, and then I can fill in the rest if I don't color in enough markers to begin with. I'm going in rainbow order, and I did do the borders one at a time purposely. So the first border you can see goes in rainbow order. Well, whichever coloring tool I pick to pick up the next line, because there's going to be 3 rows, I want to go with the next color in the rainbow order. So for me, that was going to be a royal blue. And then I'm simply going to repeat my colors. You could count out the design and maybe color all of your blue and all of your purple and all of your pink at one time. I always end up messing up when I do it that way, so I found it easier to just go ahead and color them individually after I went through and added the E43 for the pencil. So I went ahead and finished that. You can see I'm just trimming down my borders now. I finished coloring the last border just like I was doing that second one where I'm repeating the colors. And then I want to put foam adhesive on the back of each and pop them up off of the background. Foam adhesive is my go-to for adding interest to a card, any card. And I love a little repeating border like this. I think an all-over background even would be super cute with these. If you want to keep your borders longer, maybe flip the design around and do a horizontal card. Do all over crayons or coloring tools. You could even pop the square up in the center of them if you wanted to. There's lots of different ways to achieve a very similar look. I'm also going to, I wanted to show you that scallop. I'm going to pop up my square with foam adhesive right next to my sentiment. And then we're simply going to finish our card with a scattering of some little red hearts. If you guys have been here for a while, you probably knew that part was coming. I took a black jelly roll pen and added detail to the mouse's eyes. I almost always do that for critters or anything with eyes, simply because I think it makes the face pop. I'm going to take a little liquid glue. I had some little leftover hearts on my table from another project already, so I just picked those up. You know, these are my favorite candy apple hearts from Trinity Stamps. And there is our card panel. Now I'm going to attach this to a white top fold card base, but I also want to stamp something inside the card. This time I'm going to stamp Crafting Brought Us Together, Friendship Keeps Us Connected. That is also from that Crafty Sentiments stamp set. I have really been making an effort to stamp inside of my cards lately, and I thought that that was a beautiful way to finish this design. So pretty. You could add extra gemstones if you wanted to. You could do any kind of embellishing that you want. any colors that you want. Maybe you don't want to do rainbow, maybe you want to stick to a different color palette. I think that there are just so many different ways to use these products, and I hope you love them as much as I do. Thank you so much for joining me today for this colorful, crafty card featuring brand new products from the Pretty Pink Posh May 2022 release. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link in the description below. I would love to see you over there in our community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new card making video. Thank you again for joining me today. I appreciate you all so very much, and we will see you again next time.